I'm Shannon Thrasher, and this is 30-Second Tactics. Today, we're going to talk about TV cops. And I'm not talking about cops that appear on the TV show Cops. I'm talking about like fictional, made-up cop shows, movies, TVs. Dumb things cops do in those movies, the actors do portraying the cops, and why it matters. I mean, it's just a show. Why is it entertainment? I think why it matters and why we need to pay attention and educate our friends and the public about the ridiculous things cops do on TV is because a lot of people, that's the only perception they have of cops is what they see on TV, whether it's the reality TVs shows or, the dramas and the fictions and stuff. So it matters, that people know that, we don't do stuff like that. And the other reason is we all know cops don't get enough training. Well, naturally, if you're not trained on a topic, but you've seen it done on TV when you were a kid or teenager or whatever, that's going to be your default to think it's okay to do it that way if you haven't been taught different. So young cops and old cops alike can be out there doing silly stuff, hopefully not to the extreme examples I'm going to give, but just because no one ever taught them any different, and that's how they saw it on TV. So in no particular order and not an extensive list at all, let's talk about some of the dumb things TV cops do. Now the first one is, you've probably seen it, and it just has to do with evidence. The ridiculous mishandling of evidence, and this can be anywhere from something relatively mild like processing evidence without your gloves on to I've literally seen cop shows where actors, I say cops but they're just actors, bend over and stick their finger in some blood and smell it. Oh, that's blood. Or you've all seen the the Miami Vice type shows where they stick their finger in the cocaine and rub it on their lips or on their gums and say, "Ooh, that's high quality." Blah blah blah. I mean, that's just so far from anything that we could realistically do, or hopefully no one's doing. So that's another one. A couple of them that have to do with firearms. They're pet peeves of mine. You'll see the cops doing this. Now, I'm not talking about a professional Temple Index. I'm just talking about walking through or clearing a house with a gun up like this. Now, the reason they do it is because, it's TV. You want to have the gun and the actor's face in the same frame. But, if I'm clearing a house like this, am I afraid the ceiling's going to attack me? I mean, get it out there, and I'm not going to give a class on, how to clear a house in this video. But I hate seeing them do that, and that's why they do it, so I kind of understand it. Another thing having to do with guns I can't stand, and this isn't the actor's fault so much, it's Foley's fault. If you don't know, Foley's just the guy that adds the sound effects to a movie or a TV show. And that's when you see the gun, and especially if it's a Glock or something that doesn't have you don't have to cock it, it doesn't have a manual safety or anything, and they'll draw it out of the holster and you hear click, click, all these little weird sound effects like the gun's being cocked or something like that, when you and I know that, it's, presenting your gun doesn't make any sounds. In fact, it's better that it doesn't, from a being sneaky standpoint, not giving away your position. Every time you pulled out your gun, it went click, 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 click. You'd probably have to develop some different tactics to deal with that. Another thing is, and again, I know why they do it, but it's, TV cops get in a gunfight and then they go back to work. They finish the shift. They're in the work tomorrow. They're investigating the same guy that shot him up. And we all know, different departments have different policies, but generally speaking, a cop that gets in a shootout is going to be off for a couple days administratively while they get the investigation going. And again, I understand why they do it in movies, but we need to, help educate the public to know that's not the way they work. We don't get in a big old gun battle and then go finish out the rest of our shift. And last one, probably the biggest pet peeve of all, why, and it pains me to even do it for the video, but they walk around with their finger on the trigger, or they pull the gun out of the holster and slide, because again, it looks cool on TV. But hopefully, when I say this, it's true. Not a cop in his right mind is going to run around with an empty chamber on his duty gun at work, and hopefully not a cop in his right mind is going to walk around with his finger on the trigger. That just comes down to this part is just, because it looks cool. The director says to do it or whatever. People don't know any better. And this is just, no training. You can see every once in a while, you'll see a cop movie or a military movie where you can tell good guys were the technical advisors and they got through the director and they taught him something as simple as that. So anyway, guys, that's just some pet peeves of mine, some dumb things TV cops do, and like I said at the beginning, why I think it even matters that we pay attention to that. If you're like me, you're already driving your wife crazy when you sit and watch a cop show or a military show. But when you sit out with your friends, mention stuff. Don't shove it down their throat, but mention, hey, that's not how we really do that, just so you know. And maybe we can spread some education and get the public to understand what we do a little better. So anyway, guys, that's what I have for you this time. As always, work, train, repeat. Stay safe.